I'm not going to say you can't talk, but
I'm not going to talk.
Please be cognizant. We are doing a live show here, damn it. We're doing a live show. Whether you like it or not, we're talking. All right, so now we're start this.
Fake stuff over here.
We will start this in 3.
I hear nothing in the right ear, so taking it out.
Well, good thing. My ears, either one, pick you up just fine, my friend. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to a special edition of Overtime Fantasy and Fantasy Focused. We are doing a crossover special as we're going to go ahead and fill out a FanDuel lineup for Week 7 of NFL action. I'm Derek Tate of Fantasy Focused. On the other side, wearing the Florida State hat, that is Phil Caralla of Overtime Fantasy. Phil, we've known each other for a very long time, but this is the first time we actually get to talk a little fantasy football. It's not going to be quite the same as when you used to kick my ass in Madden or NCAA football back in the day.
It might be just like that, Tate. It might be just like that. It might. Or we both can just suck horribly. So either way, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm rolling right now in my FanDuel account. I'm strictly a DraftKings player for the most part, but generally I've been playing a lot of DraftKings, no FanDuel for the last year or so. I had a grand spanking $10 in my account. So I hope you're ready to high roll today, baby. Let's put it all on the line against each other.
Yeah, we talked earlier, man. That's way more than I have after I got throttled last week. So congratulations to you.
Nothing like giving everybody a vote of confidence. Go ahead and follow us into action for Week 7 while we both have less than $10 in our accounts, respectively. If we put that together, we could really buy ourselves a nice, supersize double quarter pounder over at McDonald's with maybe a couple spare double cheeseburgers if we can buy them.
A couple DB Cheebies will be good there, buddy.
What was the all-time high that I ordered? I think I ordered 8 in one sitting. I don't
know. I just remember that whole bag of sauce you got that one day.
Well, that was the only way that you could actually eat it properly. I don't know. I had
you pulled up to the window. You said, "I need all the sauce you got."
She's like, "What?" Sure, all of them, please.
Hand it over.
Back in the day, man, I had a digestive system of Yoshi. Not so much anymore, man. I have a milkshake and my ass jiggles for a week.
Yep. I can get on board with that.
All right, speaking of getting on board, though, we got to go ahead and fill out these damn DFS lineups. So, again, the rules of this competition between Overtime Fantasy and Fantasy Focus. By the way, if you have not yet done so and checked out Overtime Fantasy or Fantasy Focus, if this is the first time you come across either one of our channels, go ahead, drop us a like, support. We both have our live shows. We have our weekly podcast. You can find us on anywhere that you podcast, or we Facebook Live, YouTube Live, etc. for Sunday live shows answering any and all of your fantasy questions. So, that being said, I'll let you go ahead and kick it off. I feel like we should go from the top down to the bottom, start at quarterback, and work our way down. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go first because be my guest. Time to kick your ass this week. Yeah.
All right. So it was a toss-up. We had a few options at quarterback that we liked. And when I say we, I say all the guys here at Overtime Fantasy. And we came up with a conclusion that we like Jared Goff this week going up against Atlanta. That's a very weak defense that he's going to go up against, and I think he's going to air it out pretty good. The cost value is $7,800, so I think that's a fairly decent price range for him, and he could have at least 300 yards, maybe a couple touchdowns. Good, solid quarterback pick. What do you think, Tate?
Well, right now with Jared Goff, anything that cures your offensive woes is going up against that Atlanta secondary. I don't know about you, but do you think that there's any possibility that Dan Quinn doesn't make it through the season?
I think he'll make it through. I've heard that that he's not really ready to pull the trigger yet. So we'll see what happens after this week. I mean, honestly, that defense is the biggest problem. You can't go ahead and have Matt Ryan throw for 300 yards passing every single game, and then they always lose. What's up with that?
Well, you tell me. I mean, because Dan Quinn, to me, is supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. I mean, he's part of that Legion of Boom over there, kind of descendant of that coaching tree over there in Seattle with Pete Carroll and company. And when he first joined with Atlanta, that secondary did look good. And Desmond Trufant, the cornerback in particular, looked like one of the top 10 corners in the NFL at a given moment. But his play has regressed so much to the point where I don't even recognize him as a player. It doesn't look like he's physically diminished, but the coaching there it seems as if there are just gaping holes on all three levels of this defense. And it doesn't make sense because they have some individually very talented players on both sides of the ball. It makes no sense that they're 1-5.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Keanu Neal going down is a big hurt.
Right.
I mean, that's like your that's like the Lawrence Taylor at safety. You know what I'm saying? He could really lower the boom, and for him to be out, and I think that's really hurting their secondary, honestly.
Keanu, whoa. That's how I feel about the defenses right now when I watch them. It's like Keanu Reeves, like, whoa, from like Matrix.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. They just threw for another touchdown. All right, cool.
Did you know that he was actually in the most recent Toy Story 4? He was actually a Canadian toy that was basically an Evel Knievel. I think he was Boom Nukem or something like that. It was.
I did not know that.
And they're rebooting the Matrix. Anyway, let's stop talking about Keanu Reeves. My quarterback pick, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with Jared Goff. I think he's fairly priced given the matchup that they have against the Atlanta secondary. But I'm going with a guy that, to me, has shown that he's taking steps in the right direction and is speaking of another guy that's thrown the ball all over the yard, it's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray going against the New York Giants secondary this week. I thought that Kyler Murray played his best game as a pro last week against this exact Atlanta secondary that we were just talking about, to the tune of over 300 yards passing, 3 scores through the air. And prior to that, I know that the touchdowns haven't been there strictly because they really struggle in the red zone. And I know that Fitzgerald is certainly still a competent wide receiver, but he's on his last leg in the NFL. Christian Kirk not being available certainly doesn't help matters. He may come back this week, but I love what Murray gives you as a floor. He hasn't scored fewer than 15 fantasy points at any given point this season. Finally found a way to start punching the ball into the end zone last week, and I'd like him to carry that momentum into this week against the New York Giants.
Yeah, I like that pick, and that's another one that we were considering. I mean, after I saw him play against the Ravens, that's when I said, all right, he's definitely got all the tools to make this whole transition into the NFL work. He's faster than do you think he's faster than Vic?
No, I don't think he's faster than Vic.
His lateral movement.
I think he's quick. You know, if you're talking about change of direction and agility, perhaps.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But at top speed, no, I still think him and even Lamar Jackson have him in a straight top speed race. But quickness, shiftiness, side to side, yeah. I mean, Kyler's right there with Michael Vick, maybe even a small hair quicker.
Yeah, see, I like what he's been able to do. He's he really seems like he hasn't missed a beat since college. He's moving around, he's throwing the ball, he's dropping dimes out there. He's putting in some serious – he's putting in a lot of good quality game film from me. That's what I like to see him from.
Well, I mean, he looks like he's playing with confidence. That first couple of weeks, it looked like this air raid offense – I was actually kind of concerned. I thought it was going to be a complete disaster seeing how they kind of stumbled out of the gates against the Detroit Lions. And then but every week it seems like he's gotten more and more comfortable playing against NFL talent. So for me, with that ceiling that Kyler can give you, or that floor he can give you as a rusher, but also with a nice matchup against the New York Giants, I certainly like him for this week as we transition to the running back spot. We got 2 of them to fill out and then possibly a third with a flex. Look, I'm going top dollar. I'm going Saquon Barkley. He practiced in full today, and the Arizona Cardinals are still one of the worst teams as far as yardage given up on the ground in the NFL. And even it was Devonta Freeman who had an okay day on the ground, but really torched the linebackers in the passing game, which obviously Saquon is capable of doing. And I'm really interested to see what Barkley is capable of doing with Daniel Jones under center now against a tasty matchup in the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, if you liked what Devonta Freeman did to them last week, Saquon Barkley is just going to explode. He's coming back from that ankle injury, and he's not normal. You don't come back that quick from a high ankle sprain, especially the one that he had.
They said he was going to possibly miss, 2 months?
They said up to 8 weeks. He came back and he was really ready to go last week, I think. But
it was a short week against the New England Patriots. So
right, I think that's the only reason why he didn't suit up. I mean, you saw the videos that came out. I mean, he looked like he was ready to go.
Dude, this guy's the round mound of touchdown. All I needed to do is get 20 to 25 touches, and your boy's going to find the end zone against this.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, tell me you remember, like they nicknamed Charles Barkley. I mean, that's the Barkley reference there, my friends. It's the connective tissue. I mean, I got to have my references on point. They got to have some sort of origin. They can't just be random.
They don't?
No, I don't think. I mean, they could be. I mean, knowing my sense of humor and the way that we're able to communicate with each other, yes, it could be completely at random. Like we can throw a Joe Dirt comment in here every now and then as well. But
all right, well, you like the more slimmer Charles Barkley this week. Then I like you see the hat I got on, right? Florida State. You know who's a pretty good running back for that school? I'll give you one guess.
I know where you're going with this one. I think
I'll give you one guess.
Dalvin Cook.
I didn't even give you a guess. You already guessed it. That's amazing.
Yeah,
you're the amazing Tate.
I'm in your head, man. I'm in your head. But it's also
get out of my head.
A lot of sense.
You get out of my head, Tate. Yeah, Dalvin Cook. That's what we decided. And then jumping on to you right now, we're going up another top dollar running back here. Leonard Fournette. What do you think about that guy, huh?
So Lenny Fournette. So I love the volume he's been getting. I mean, he's been getting volume not only as far as being able to hand him the football, right? But also he's been way more involved in the passing game than I ever anticipated that he would be heading into the season. That almost seems like a plus. So the fact that this offensive line has gotten a little bit healthier up front, he's gotten into a rhythm as this season has progressed on the ground, and we have that safe PPR floor that he's been giving you on a weekly basis, surprisingly, from Leonard Fournette. So for me, I'm all about Leonard Fournette, and I like the matchup this week in specific against a Cincinnati Bengals team that is complete dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. I think they're dumpster liquid.
What's the difference?
One is wet, one is heat. That's about it. You like fires, I like wetness. Basically, Leonard Fournette is, I think right now he's third overall in yardage for running backs behind McCaffrey and who's the other one, Tate?
Is it Dalvin Cook?
I don't know, but it might be.
Well, we know he's third. So we know
either way, to come out and say that Leonard Fournette is going to be putting up receiving yards, that just puts a whole new ball game into his fantasy. I mean, he's staying healthy, which I'm very happy about because I like the way he runs. He's very physical. He's super fast, and for him to be injured all the years past, I mean, for him to actually be healthy I'm very happy about that. And him going up against the Bengals, pretty good matchup there, Tate. Hey, Tate.
Hey, Phil. Yeah, I had to throw that comment in there from my beloved sister, of course, beloved friend of Phil Caralla as well. But so Leonard Fournette, love the matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. My other running back, though, is Dalvin Cook. And the reason being, the Packers are still allowing, actually, as well as their defense has played this year, they're still allowing 124 yards per game on the ground. And look, I'm not being fooled by Kirk Cousins torching the Philadelphia defense. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying into Stephon Diggs having renaissance this year or his fantasy value being resurrected or anything of that nature. He had one big game against a sorry-ass secondary. I'm not buying it. That's
exactly it. That's it.
This is a running football team. This is a running football team around Dalvin Cook, who has been cooking all season long. So I'm going top dollar as my first two running backs. Later on, I'll go ahead and reveal who's in my flex. You'll have to wait and see for that one. I tell you what, man. Anyway, we're moving on to wide receiver.
Is it Juicy Tate?
I mean, just trying to set the table, man. I'm trying to tease the audience.
I like it.
So, at wide receiver, we got to have three of them. Who's your first one you like?
All right. So, I like Goff, right?
Right.
Well, you got to like one of their receivers.
Okay.
I'm going to go Robert Woods.
Why?
Over the other Robert Woods.
Why over the other option?
For one, Cooper Kupp is a little pricey this week. And in order to get a better lineup, I had to go with their number 2 option, which, I mean, I think Cooks and Robert Woods are they're kind of even when it comes to being the number 2. I think Kupp is a definite number 1. I mean, he gets all the targets. That's Jared Goff's like BFF. But Robert Woods lately has been getting the targets and actually producing. So for the price that he's going for right now and the defense he's going up against, I think Robert Woods is a really good option. Or therefore anybody on the Rams wide receiving group.
Well, interestingly enough, I have Brandon Cooks, so I'm just going straight. Anybody that has the last name Cook, you're likely on my team this week.
Mm-hmm. Cooking it.
I'm cooking it, man. I'm
cooking it with Tate.
I'm gonna put up a W this week for Fantasy Focused. Just letting you know, man. I'm sorry. I got
Tate, do you consider yourself a chef?
Oh, I'm the worst chef in the world. No, I mean, you know what?
I don't
need the peanut
like
gallery sitting right next to me, confirming that I have some of the worst cooking skills known to man. In fact, normally if I'm cooking and I don't like the taste of it, and I try to give it to my dog doesn't eat it. That's bad when you know the dog will not eat a piece of meat.
We're not cooking it with Tate. Okay.
No,
we'll
not
cook it later.
Cooking, no.
We'll cook it with the later instead of the tater.
But in all seriousness, the only reason I'm taking Brandon Cooks over the likes of Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp this week, strictly because he's the cheapest of the three options. I think that, and he's also the best. One thing that I can say about him is he's the best deep threat of these players.
Definitely.
And the way that the Atlanta secondary has been giving up big chunk plays consistently in the 2019 season, Cooks seems to me to be the guy that I feel comfortable being able to pop a couple big receptions. One of them I expect to go to the house. So we're on the same page. It's just that I'm picking a different ingredient to cook with. You like that? You like
that? That was solid Tate. That was a solid Tate there, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. So who's your number 2 wide receiver you're going with?
All right. So for the price, because my flex is pretty pricey right now. So for the price tag of this player, we talked about him a little earlier with Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald being on his last leg. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to have 2 legs this game against the Giants, and I think he's going to put up some pretty good numbers.
Well, do they have anybody that you feel confident that can shut him out? My answer is no.
Nope. And especially if Christian Kirk isn't playing, because I know he has the questionable tag on him right now, and if he doesn't play and he's the actual number 1, that's a very solid pick and a good time to play him against the Giants.
Well, the volume that you feel comfortable with Larry Fitzgerald, I mean, he's had 8 or more or 7 or more targets in all but one game this entire season. And
correct.
He had 5 or more receptions in every single game this season. I mean, he had the hot start where he went over 100 yards each of the first 2 weeks, and he's kind of come back down to the field a little bit since then. But with Christian Kirk either playing at not 100% or he's not going to be playing at all against a pretty weak secondary, I like how we're both kind of poaching each other's quarterback picks. It's almost like we're hedging our bets here a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You like my Rams receiver. I like your Cardinal receiver.
Oh, we're over here just patting each other on the back, my friend.
And we don't even know it.
In an aggressive.
We don't even know it.
Oh, you don't even know it. So my number 2 wide receiver, Tyler Lockett. Look, if you didn't get that reference, that's Davy Crockett.
Lock it up, Tate.
Oh, I'll lock it up. No more singing, I promise. Look, $6,500, right around. I mean, he's a little bit more expensive than Larry Fitz for that number 2 option, but what has there not been to like about Tyler Lockett in his volume this season? I mean, for a guy. The
only thing that makes me a little upset in that area is that when they get down to the red zone, they seem to be targeting other players. It's like if he doesn't have a 25 or more catch, then it's not going to be a touchdown.
I understand your point, even though last week he got tackled. He actually got a touchdown called back.
Yeah, I know.
He lunged into the end zone, called down at the 1-yard line. By the way, I don't even think he was down. I think he actually scored on that play, and it was a phantom overturn. It didn't even matter. It just ended up giving Chris Carson a 1-yard score. But
yeah,
point being is that Tyler Lockett's volume on a week-by-week basis has been there, and he's certainly capable of popping a big play, as we all know, not to mention there's no Will Dissly anymore. So another safety blanket that has been kind of there for Russell Wilson through the first 5 or 6 weeks of the NFL season is no longer available. So I think we're just going to see more looks for Tyler Lockett in the passing game. Now, is the efficiency going to be there? Certainly, if I'm the opposing defensive coordinator, I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure that Wilson has to go to somebody other than Tyler Lockett. But I still feel comfortable in his volume. And the Ravens, even though they're not the world beater that they were the first 2 weeks of the NFL season on the offensive end, they're still putting up plenty of points with Lamar Jackson at the helm. Higher scoring game than people think.
I agree. And it seems like every matchup that he goes against, like every defense that he matches up with is better than you think he's going to produce. He goes into the game and he'll give you 11 points, 12 points, something like that against a good defense. And then he plays a sorry one and he puts up maybe 6. So I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, Tate.
Well, I appreciate that. But who is your third and final wide receiver? And we'll see if we agree on this one.
The guy that has the same last name as you, Tate.
Oh, yeah, baby. I like him already.
He's a Florida boy, too. He's a Tampa native, Auden Tate.
Really? I thought maybe it was a possible Golden Tate sighting, but all right.
Oh, no, not Golden Tate. He's too pricey.
Give me some Auden Tate.
Auden Tate, the last couple weeks, has been a monster in the targets. Andy Dalton and him seem to have a serious connection right now. The last couple games has been 6 targets, 11 targets for 91 yards. I mean, I think for the price tag that he's going for, this is a very solid option to free you up more space, more cap room, if you will, to get a better players on defense, a tight end, and a flex. So, especially with the matchup he's going against, I like it.
Is there any part of you, though, that sees just 2 potentially suspect offenses going up?
Yes.
I could see this being a lower scoring game. Hence, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. The guy to own in this game for me is Leonard Fournette, because he's going to see volume against a defense that is somewhat suspect. But Auden Tate, even though I love the buy. I love the price tag that you're getting Auden Tate, whether it's DraftKings or FanDuel. I love him as a buy regardless. However, is there anything that scares you against a Jacksonville defense that still plays pretty damn hard on that side of the football, and just trying to take Auden Tate away, and really the Bengals struggling to move the ball? The volume will be there. It's just, I don't know. I don't like the match all that much.
This is all right. So something that I say on our podcast a lot is it's called the Juju syndrome. Okay. The Juju syndrome is your number 2 wide receiver producing when you have a better number 1 option on your team. So right now, the better option is Tyler Boyd, and he will be covered by A.J. Boye, right?
Right, in theory.
Okay. It's freeing up Auden Tate to be on a less physical, less veteran, Pro Bowler type of a defensive back. So with Auden Tate's size and skills, I think he can potentially be, even if he gets into the red zone and has a touchdown, there's 1 touchdown, 2 catches for 2 yards and a touchdown. That's better than having a at-risk number 1 wide receiver like Tyler Boyd going up against a dominant defensive back. So I call that the Juju syndrome, because Juju Smith-Schuster was producing crazy numbers when he had Antonio Brown next to him. Correct?
Correct.
So I call it the Juju. What do you like? What do you think about that?
No, I like that. I like the rationale. And again, I'm not trying to volume-wise, my man. Volume-wise, Auden Tate is definitely getting the volume that, at his price tag, is certainly worth a spot in your lineup, 100%. Yeah.
And there's other options there. There's another one, like John Brown is available. Just got a questionable tag.
Correct.
The other one was Cole Beasley, and there was one other one that looked kind of.
Are you going to bring up Duke Williams, CFL finest?
I was not.
All right, good, because I don't want to talk about Duke Williams. No offense to the man, it's a pro, tip of the hat. But I don't want to talk about Duke Williams versus the Miami Dolphins. It's going too far if we're going to start Dookie.
All right, what do you got, man? What's your next wide receiver?
For me, and this is again maybe just going with a gut feeling, because certainly logically I could see why people are going to be like, what the hell are you thinking? But Corey Davis, when Mariota got benched, Ryan Tannehill actually started throwing the football to a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, who is a hell of a wide receiver. I don't care what anybody says about Corey Davis. I know the production has not been there since he's been in the NFL. But that's more, to me, that's more of an indictment on Marcus Mariota than it is on Corey Davis. Because if you watch the film on Corey Davis, this man, for a guy that's as big as he is, gets a ton of separation. And we know he's a beast after the catch. It's just that Mariota couldn't get him the damn football.
He cannot throw the ball. You put Corey Davis on any other team, and he's a fantasy stud.
Right. But
I mean, maybe not the Dolphins, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? With a halfway decent quarterback that can throw the ball downfield, Corey Davis is a top fantasy option.
And I'm going to ask you a question. Is it too far of a reach to say that Ryan Tannehill is even a slight upgrade to Marcus Mariota?
Passing wise, yeah. Yeah, I don't really like the way Marcus Mariota throws the football. Tannehill, he showed signs of decency, I guess, in Miami.
I call it competency.
He threw the ball pretty. I mean, he has a good arm. He has a way better arm than Marcus Mariota. And I think he's not afraid to know that you throw the ball to your number one receiver. Like, that's a no-brainer. I don't care if he's covered or not. You throw it to him. Simple.
Do you think, though, that, like, as far as just pure quarterbacking, like, I think that Tannehill showed me more as far as going through his progressions and playing the actual position of quarterback at the NFL level, not at a college level, at the quarterback level, which is shocking because Tannehill was actually a former wide receiver in college that played, one season of under center at the college level. But he's shown me more as far as being able to go through his progressions and actually play the position of quarterback at a average level starting quarterback than Marcus Mariota has his entire NFL career.
You gotta think about the system that he came out of. It was a strictly RPO spread offense.
Correct.
There's no progressions in that. It's a one person read.
One read.
You hand the ball off or you throw it. It's as easy as that. You take that quarterback and you draft him number 2 overall, and then you say that he's going to be a really good NFL quarterback. I don't see it, and it's showing right now.
I mean, we're 5 years into his NFL career, and I mean, he just got benched. Did Marcus Mariota for Ryan Tannehill, and Tannehill's no bum, but I thought it was actually. I mean, it's interesting to me that the Tennessee Titans saw the writing on the wall and decided to go and make it a point to go get a veteran option to push Marcus Mariota when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not. We just saw Jameis Winston have a 6-turnover football game. Let's not talk about the Buccaneers. It's the bye week.
Please not.
Yeah, I know.
Please don't. Don't bring up that. Oh, yeah. Next. But yeah, I think Davis, Mariota, and the thing that happens with Mariota is I don't understand why he hasn't been running the football. He's a fast quarterback. Is he just getting afraid, or what is it?
I just think that it's within the confines of the offense. I think he's just overthinking it, man. The guy does not look like he's playing with any sort of confidence. It seems like it's a weekly play-by-play struggle for Mariota to play and let it rip. I mean, it's like he's playing. You can't play tight in the NFL as an NFL quarterback.
He's playing on a short leash. That's all it is. It's like, if I make a mistake, here comes Tannehill. He wasn't playing like I need to, I have a guy breathing down my neck. He was just like, I mess up one time, I'm pulled. That's it. That's probably all he was thinking about. You can't go out there and play. You got to play like Fitzmagic out there. Just let it, sling it. Just throw it all around, man. Have fun with it. This guy goes out there chewing gum. It's like, all right, I'm gonna throw this touchdown right past your ear, and you're not going to see it coming.
You know what's a very good fantasy trivia question for anybody that is tuning into us right now live? Ryan Fitzpatrick has played for 1/4 of the NFL. He has started a game for 1/4 of the teams in the National Football League. And he is as far as passing yardage goes, he ranks and is in the top 50 all time. Name 6 of the teams that Ryan Fitzmagic has started a game for in the NFL.
The Jets, the Dolphins,
I was telling our listeners, but you can go ahead and give the answers.
Okay, I thought you were talking to me, Tate. You didn't specify. He didn't specify.
But I mean, you're even sitting there going like, damn, like, yeah, how many, who has he played?
Wasn't it the Rams too and the Bills?
Yes, Rams.
The Bills.
Gave him a big contract, actually.
Yeah. Dude, he's almost played for everybody in the AFC East.
He has played for everybody in the AFC East, with the exception of the Patriots, which, why do you think the Patriots keep winning the damn AFC East? Because they keep running into teams that start Ryan Fitzpatrick. That is the common denominator. So anyway, we are moving on to tight end. So right now I'm looking at Robert Woods, Larry Fitzgerald, and the third wide receiver that you mentioned was Auden Tate. So who's your starting tight end?
Hunter Henry.
Ooh, okay.
The price tag is $5,700, going up against the pretty good competition. Not really. I think he'll have a very solid game. He had 9 targets last week, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. For the price tag, you can't really beat that.
So I'm going to try not to overreact to him having one big week. And by the way, it's hard to trust a guy that has 2 first names, Hunter Henry, and I like to call him the game, Hunter Hurst Henry. That's what I'm going Triple H, my friend. But Hunter Henry certainly coming back from injury, which it was, it's been nice to have him come back despite missing all of 2018, except according to Stephen A. Smith, who said he was having a hell of a year through week 12 of last season. But
yeah, and Dwayne Haskins is a running quarterback.
Yeah. And by the way, Derek Johnson, who was inactive, it's going to be a hell of a matchup between him and Hunter Henry. But I digress. When it comes to Hunter Henry, though, it was nice to see him live up to at least some of the fantasy potential that we've seen him show glimpses of last week. I think a lot of that had to do with game flow, though, my man. I mean, it had caught 2 touchdowns after they fell behind 21-0 in the first half. Certainly has the talent, and Mike Williams doesn't look like himself. He looks unhealthy. They made it a point to take Keenan Allen out of that football game there against Pittsburgh, which essentially was a freaking home game at Los Angeles for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But
yeah,
certainly there's nothing wrong price tag wise with going with Hunter Henry and seeing if he can build off of what he did last week.
Yeah, and the thing about it is I really just believe that once Phillip Rivers believes in a tight end that he can trust and throw the ball to, he's going to consistently throw to the tight end. I mean, Antonio Gates for years was his go-to guy. I think knowing that Hunter Henry is out there and he's healthy with a Phillip Rivers that likes to throw to the tight end, for the price tag, I like it. The other one that I was trying to get was Evan Ingram, but it was a little shaky. I was a little shaky, a little hesitant on that.
I don't blame you for being a little shaky on, because I mean it's interesting. How do you feel confident knowing what the volume is going to be like this week for the New York Giants? Because ever since Daniel Jones took over under center, Barkley got injured immediately. Then we saw Auden Tate come back from his 4-game suspension. Then we saw Evan Ingram get hurt. I just don't know as far as volume-wise. I like the matchup for Evan Ingram, but do we really feel – I don't feel confident knowing how to predict or project, who's going to do what and what the volume is going to be in the passing attack for the Giants.
You really don't know what you're going to get. I mean, before Auden Tate came back, I mean, at least you knew who the targets were going to go to. It was Barkley and Ingram, right? I mean, that was the only 2 options that you really had to worry about, was which one of those are going to get more targets, more looks. Right now, it's kind of like starting a Patriots running back. You don't know who's going to get the volume. So I would prefer, and especially with him being questionable, I mean, he's an injury-prone tight end. He's starting to become, Jordan Reed a little bit, and that's scary. He's always hurt. He always has a questionable tag on him. But yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I didn't want to go with him, was because 1, the price, and 2, he's at what point will he get banged up?
So you just put it out there very well. I was going to say, I've been thinking in my mind the whole time, did you just quote Forrest Gump for fantasy analysis, saying you never know what you're going to get from the Giants?
You never know what you're going to get. No.
I caught it. You knew I caught it. You know I'm going to catch it. I'm going to catch it, Forrest Gump. Quote 9 times out of 9, every single time. Anyway, for me at tight end, I'm going Darren Waller. And I know that they had a bye week there in Oakland. And prior to that, I mean, he's a little banged up. It shows up that he's been on the injury report himself this week. However, with Tyrell Williams dealing with plantar fasciitis, and I know Darren Waller came off of his least productive game of the season in week 5 prior to their bye week, but that was against the Chicago Bears. And they jumped out to a lead against the Bears and basically took the air out of the football until they fell behind and actually ended up having to throw the football. But still, every single week, he's had at least 4 receptions at the tight end spot. And his price at $6,200 for me feels like it's pretty fair given that they're going against the Green Bay Packers, which I could see the Packers jumping out on the Oakland Raiders early in this one.
Yeah, and it comes down to that volume thing. You know, they just picked up Zay Jones from Buffalo. Tyrell Williams is out. It's kind of like you know where the volume is going to go in this passing game. You got what other options out there? You got Josh Jacobs and you got Waller. It's a good pick, Tate.
Josh Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His score is my score too. All right, we're going on to the flex spot. Who do you got in the flex there, Flip?
All right. This is a guy that I've been bashing him for years now. It seems like, and I've had him on my team a couple times, and he's been miserable. And I can't believe I'm actually having him in a lineup right now. I'm kind of disappointed in my cast here at Overtime Fantasy that they would actually allow me to put this guy in here, which is Derrick Henry. Now, I talk about how much I respect Derrick Henry because I think he's a really great running back. I think he's in a terrible team, though. That's the only problem. And he's a terrible fantasy person to have in years past. This year, he's been doing fairly well. I mean, the touchdowns are there. The carries are definitely there. And I think he has a favorable matchup with what the Steelers just did to the Chargers. I think Derrick Henry has a really good chance of not maybe putting up the exact numbers of James Conner last week, but close to him. And for the price tag, I think that's, put him in there. No,
that's actually very interesting.
Tate, put him in there.
I'm putting him in. I wrote him. Oh, well, I knocked down my mic. I'm so flabbergasted that you threw Derrick Henry at me here. But so when it comes to Henry, if I'm making the argument that I like Corey Davis's bump in value potentially, the same has to apply to Derrick Henry. I think he's been productive in spite of the incompetency of Marcus Mariota under center. So if you're telling me that the quarterback play even gets mildly better, then you would think that that's going to just present more scoring opportunities for a bell cow back in the NFL against you. Just nailed you hit the bullseye in the fact that the Chargers could not tackle. They were incapable of tackling James Conner last week. And now you bring in Derrick Henry?
Look like the little Giants trying to tackle Spike. Not going to happen.
Who's Spike's lead blocker? The Icebox.
What kind of formation is the Spike like? Power eye.
Like the opening scene that we were introduced to Spike, he had a refrigerator on his back. Carrying the team.
Spike. I'm waiting for Louis to create one of those videos in the offseason. Like, all right, who's going to carry this fridge out?
That would go viral immediately. I mean, not that your brother hasn't already gone viral on a couple of occasions. If he has a player actually carrying like wearing the same cutoff, like tank and everything like that, too.
Actually, I want to see Louis do it. Lou, just do it. You have nobody to move your refrigerator into your office. Just you do it.
I know what I'm being for Halloween now.
Spike.
I'm being Spike.
Spike don't care. Spike don't play with girls.
Didn't you hear? Oh man. All right, fantastic. So I'm not going with Derrick Henry, even though I totally love and understand the pick. I'm going with Matt Breida, though. And what is the one thing the San Francisco 49ers can do that we know that they can do other than play defense? It's run the football. And
run the dang ball.
Kyle Shanahan continues to prove that I think he's the best play caller in the entire NFL. Now, I know he's going to be splitting some work with Tevin Coleman, and they'll even sprinkle in Raheem Mostert from time to time. But Breida in a favorable matchup against a Washington offense that, Flip, I don't know if the Redskins are going to score more than 10 points in this game.
You're really actually you're being very nice.
I'm being generous.
You're being very nice there.
So they just held the Rams offense to 7 points. I mean, they gave up an opening drive touchdown and that was it. They blanked the Rams the entire rest of the game and held Jared Goff to under 100 yards passing. So, by the way, good luck with your fantasy quarterback this week to represent your team. But I threw a shot there, a little jab.
Quit throwing these jabs, Rocky.
Yeah, that was rude. My bad. But Breda, I love the matchup. I think that they're going to be playing from ahead from the get-go. And I think they're going to be able to basically take the air out of the football pretty early in this one. Do I expect Breda to be able to produce at least a mild fantasy game with the fact that the Redskins are not going to be able to put up points and continuously giving the football back to the 49ers? That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think that Breda's going to see somewhere around 15 carries. And I think he's going to go over 100 yards and potentially find the end zone once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, if it's one thing we know about the 49ers is they're going to run the ball. They have the backs to do it. I mean, that's what's been working. You do it, and that opens up the pass game after that. So you establish the run, you can throw the dang ball.
Isn't that something? Is that how it goes? I mean,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's really amazing that Kyle Shanahan knows how to still call football games.
Yeah.
It's
so you mean if you run the ball pretty good, you can throw the ball pretty good? Oh, cool.
Dang, I like that.
Why didn't I think of that? Crazy.
Damn it. All right.
Well, I'm glad you talked up the 49ers defense there, buddy, because
segue. I feel a segue coming.
That's where we're going with this. We're going to go there, Tate. We're going to go to San Fran, and we're going to plug them into my defensive lineup here.
Okay. I mean, basically, I don't feel like you really need to elaborate on it because we just basically trashed the entire Washington offense. If they got Case Keenum under center or who else that they ever may even dare to throw in there. I mean, they're facing off against a 34-year-old running back and Adrian Peterson. Terry McLaurin's the only thing that you really have to game plan for.
Right. Correct.
So
I think they got it covered.
No brainer. I'm actually on the other side. I'm going to go in a different direction, even though I love that.
You're going to go with the Redskins?
No, I'm going to.
You crazy man.
I didn't say the other side you called me.
That's bold, Cotton.
We'll see if it works out for him. No, we're not doing that. I'm going with the Chicago Bears. And
the Bears.
So you're telling me that the Bears defense is only $4,500. I get it. They're going up against the New Orleans Saints that have been playing very good football, led by Teddy Bridgewater under center. They've improved to 4-0 with Bridgewater calling the shots. But Alvin Kamara is banged up, dude.
Yeah.
And I know that Bridgewater has been able to manage his way to games, with the exception of the Buccaneers game, where I thought Bridgewater played exceptional and really took advantage of a defense on the back end that can't play man-to-man against Michael Thomas. No way, no how. And they got torched. But outside of that one game, I think that Bridgewater's just been playing pretty average game-managing football. I mean, they just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 13-6. They relied completely on defense.
He's been a complete game manager, honestly.
But I don't think that the Saints have run into a defense like the Chicago Bears since Bridgewater's been under center. Not that they haven't played some quality football teams, because, I mean, the Seahawks and the Cowboys are not trash by any sense, but I think that Khalil Mack and the boys are going to get after Teddy Bridgewater. And if Kamara's not right, then I think you're going to run out of options pretty quick against the Bears defense.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me is what happened against the Raiders. I'm still kind of.
I think it was a wake-up call.
I'm stumped on that one. I'm very stumped after that one.
Well, they've had 2 weeks to really stew about that and understand that they had a reality check that you can't just show up, even though that defense is all world. You can get got.
Was it a jet lag thing? Were they asleep still?
I mean, ask Jameis Winston, because he may have had the same exact issue.
He got colorblind or something. He started throwing the other team the whole game.
Can you imagine being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, getting a ticket to go all the way to London to watch the Bucs play? Like,
no.
I mean, granted, you can, have a nice weekend, go out on Friday, Saturday, go see some of the sights and sounds, Big Ben, go to a pub, get a nice buzz going, wake up all jazzed up to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, and the very first pass of the game is intercepted. And you just know, as a Bucs fan, you as a former Florida State fan, that shit, it's going to be one of those games.
Yeah. Let's put it this way, Tate. I'm in the kind of the middle of the Carolina Panthers and the Redskins. right in the middle. Same driving distance and all that. About 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. All right. I won't go see him play there. I'm not going to go to London to see him throw interceptions. All right. I'm not even going to drive 4 hours to see him do it. I'm going to sit my butt at home and watch it on the TV and then just turn it off because I get upset.
Imagine making that sales pitch to your significant other. And going, hey, baby, let's go to London. Oh, by the way, I mean, I got a ticket to a football game. They don't play American football over there. It's definitely soccer. Oh, wait, the Bucks are playing.
What a coincidence. I had no idea.
Go there, you show up, and yeah, Jameis Winston sucks, and you're just pissed off the entire last day of your trip over to London. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. But you'll take an earlier flight to go back.
Yeah. Let's just go home. Like, leave the game in the third quarter. I'm like, yeah, babe, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go back to the States. Like,
Yeah.
wait, we still got another night here. Nope. Going home.
No, we don't. No.
So just to go ahead and wrap back up and go over our lineups yet again for Overtime Fantasy, Phil Caralla, thank you again for doing this little crossover between us and Fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having us. I mean, we've been trying to do it for a while now, just never been getting around to it. So it's about damn time, Tate.
It's about damn time. And your team's going to be represented by Jared Goff, Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Bob Woods, Larry Fitzgerald, Auden Tate, Hunter Henry, Derrick Henry, and the 49ers defense, while Fantasy Focus is going to be represented by Kyler Murray, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Brandon Cooks, Corey Davis, Tyler Lockett, Darren Waller, Matt Breida, and the Bears defense. So we'll have to give an update another time, my friend. We're going to have to throw those all over the social medias. Where are the social media tags, and where can we find the Overtime Fantasy Podcast?
Everything at Overtime Fantasy, except our Twitter account is at Fantasy Overtime. You can look us up there and just Overtime Fantasy. You'll see us. You'll find us.
Throw a little at whether you think which lineup you like a little bit better for this DFS special on FanDuel. Of course, Fantasy Focus brought to you by the original Hooters as always. Thank you so much. I want to do this again, man. Overtime Fantasy Focus. Either way, you can't go wrong with getting your fantasy knowledge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, buddy.
Do you have a sign-off line?
Yeah, Phil Caralla. See ya.
Until next time. Later, says the favorite. Woo.